Good morning everyone. I am Dr. K. Brinda, Head of the Department BCom Professional Accounting in Dr. S.N.S. Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science. Today we are going to see about probability sampling and non-probability sampling methods. Probability sampling means that every member of the population has a chance of being selected. It is mainly used in quantitative research. If you want to produce results that are representative of the whole population, probability sampling techniques are the most valid choice. And it has four types. And the first one is simple random sampling. In a simple random sample, every member of the population has an equal chance of being selected. Your sampling frame should include the whole population. For example, you want to select a simple random sample of 1,000 employees of a social media marketing company. You assign a number to every employee in the company database from 1 to 1,000 and use a random number generator to select the 100 members. And the second one is systematic sampling. Systematic sampling is similar to simple random sampling, but it is usually slightly easier to conduct. Every member of the population is listed with a number, but instead of randomly generating numbers, individuals are chosen at regular intervals. For example, all employees of the company are listed in an alphabetical order. From the first 10 numbers, you randomly select a starting point, number 6. From number 6 onwards, every 10th person on the list is selected, that is 6, 16, 26, 36 and so on. And you end up with the sample of 100 people. And third one is stratified sampling. Stratified sampling involves dividing the population into subpopulations that may differ in important ways. It allows you more precise conclusion by ensuring that every subgroup is properly represented in the sample. For example, the company has 800 female employees and 200 male employees. You want to ensure that the sample reflects the gender balance of the company, so you sort the population into two strata based on the gender. Then you use random sampling on each group, selecting 80 women and 20 men, which gives you representative of sample of 100 people. And the last one is cluster sampling. Cluster sampling also involves dividing the population into subgroups, but each subgroup have similar characteristics to the whole sample. Instead of sampling individuals from each subgroup, you randomly select the entire subgroup. For example, the company has offices in 10 cities across the country, all with roughly the same number of employees in similar roles. You don't have the capacity to travel every office to collect your data, so you use random sampling to collect 3 offices. These are your clusters. And next one is non-probability sampling methods. In a non-probability sample, individuals are selected based on the non-random criteria, and not every individual has a chance of being selected. This type of sample is easier and cheaper to access, but it has a higher risk of sample bias. That means the inference you make about the population are weaker than with the probability samples, and your conclusions may be more limited if you use non-probability sample. You should still aim to make it as representative of the population as possible. Convenience sampling. A convenience sample simply includes the individuals who happen to be most accessible to the researcher. This is an easy and inexpensive way to gather initial data, but there is no way to tell if the sample is representative of the population, so it can't produce generalizable results. Convenience samples are at risk for both sampling bias and sampling selection bias. And the second one is voluntary response sampling. Similar to a convenience sample, a voluntary response sample is mainly based on ease of access. Instead of the researcher choosing participants and directly contacting them, people volunteer themselves. For example, you send out the survey to all students at your university, and a lot of students decide to complete it. This can certainly give you some insight into the topic, but people who respond are more likely to be those who have strong opinions about the student support services, so you can't be sure that their opinions are representative of all students. Third one is purposive sampling. This type of sampling, also known as judgment sampling, involves the researcher using their expertise to select a sample that is most useful to the purpose of research. It is often used in qualitative research, where the researcher wants to gain detailed knowledge about a specific phenomena rather than make statistical inferences, or where the population is very small and specific. An effective purpose sample must have clear criteria and reasonable for inclusion. Always make sure to describe your inclusion and exclusion criteria and be aware of observer bias affecting your arguments. And the fourth one is snowball sampling. If the population is hard to access, snowball sampling can be used to recruit participants via other participants. The number of people who have access to snowballs as you get in contact with more people. The downside here is also representativeness, as you have no way of knowing how representative your sample is due to the reliance on participants recruiting others. This can lead to sampling bias. And last one is quota sampling. Quota sampling relies on the non-random selection of predetermined number of portion of units. This is called as in quota. You first divide the population into mutually exclusive subgroups called strata and then recruit sample units until you reach your quota. These units share specific characteristics determined by you prior to you forming your strata. The aim of quota sampling is to control what or who makes your pesticide. Thank you.